September 11th. If you watched my last video, it was about my history with sneakers and how I got into the hobby of collecting and also reselling sneakers. And I mentioned that I would do a follow-up video on how to resell sneakers since the landscape has changed within the past 10 years or so, from just being able to sell your sneakers online to now actually physical stores and a whole different variety of stores that you could take your sneakers to sell them. So let me start off as a disclaimer. Just like any investment, nothing is guaranteed. You can potentially lose money. You definitely need to know and be educated about what you're buying if you're looking to turn this hobby or make it a business. Definitely do your research first, and I'm going to try to provide as much information as I can, just general information on what to look for and then how to make money. So just like any investment, I'm going to compare sneakers to stocks and the stock market. So there's high-risk stocks and low-risk stocks. In terms of sneakers, there's I guess another way to look at it is a short-term investment and long-term investment as well. So you have your high risk, your low risk, your short-term, and then your long-term. So I went through my collection and pulled out a couple shoes that I believe is going to show a great variety of those 4 different categories, and mix in between as well. So to start, for a short-term investment, so short-term meaning you invest X amount of dollars and you're looking to make a quick flip. You're not looking to hold on to it for a long time. You're looking to make your money back quick. So I could start off with these 2 pairs right here, your Jordan 17s and your Jordan 11s. As you can see, the Jordan 17s, they're much larger, the men's size, and then your Jordan 11 bread lows, these are kid size. So the reason why I say these are short-term investments, if you notice, the box tops are cut off the boxes. They're actually removed. This means in most cases that the shoes were purchased at a Nike outlet. At Nike outlets, they mostly remove the box tops because as they display them on the walls, if they had the lids on them, you'd have to open them up to see what's inside. So they display the boxes like this on the back walls majority of the time. And the reason why I would call these short-term investments, when you buy them at the outlet, they are typically at a deep discount, if not, sometimes at a deep discount. For example, the retail price of these Jordan 17s was $250, and they were on sale at the outlet for $150. And then actually the weekend that I bought these, they had like an extra 20% off sale. So I got them for about 120 bucks, right? And that's more than 50% off of retail. And these sneakers, for example, the Jordan 11s, well, I actually ripped off the retail price, but I believe retail on these were maybe 120 or so. These were at the outlet for, I believe, like 100 bucks, and then again, an extra 20% off. So these shoes, for example, came out in 2015. And I bought these at the outlet like this year, 2017. So needless to say, like 2 years ago, the shoes came out and I bought them at the outlet just now. These are actually B grades, meaning, so B grade shoes are available at outlets. They're typically stamped, they're stamped on the inside, sometimes with a B or just some marking, meaning, they're not fake. It's just that there was some slight factory defect with them. And that's most likely the reason why they're on sale. Like this one has a little scuff right here on the side. So I would say these are short-term, slightly lower risk investments because you're buying them significantly below the retail price. They're, these more than anything, the 11s are an in-demand sneaker. The 17s, not so much. Not all the Jordans are, you could guarantee a return on them. Definitely not. These are slightly more of a riskier shoe, but again, a short-term investment because I got it for over half off retail. If I'm able to sell them for the retail price of $250, that means I made you know, double what I paid for them. And then these sneakers, for example, if I got them for, let's say, 80 bucks, the market value on these sneakers right now is like $250 if I'm not mistaken, even if they're B grade. So I would get $200 back on these. If I paid 80, that means I made $120 on them. So again, I'll go into how to find out what the market value is for a shoe, and then where to even get that market value, like where you could even sell it for that price. So keep in mind, as I go through the sneakers, right, these are the Jordan 17s, Jordan 11s. Every shoe, when you go to the store, keep in mind, as I say, use this discretionary and use this as a disclaimer. Not all Jordan 11s are you ever going to see a return on profit, you know, let alone 17s, because it tends to be newer colorways, you know, they're not as popular. So like I said, sometimes you could actually lose money if you don't know what you're buying. So what I like to buy for myself, and you know, if I'm buying them to hopefully turn a profit, I tend to buy retro colorways, meaning they came out in the past and Nike's just re-releasing them again, which is why, you know, like a lot of the shoes hold value, or the value grows on them, because if Nike doesn't release a certain colorway for a long time, you know, let's say 4 or 5 years, that certain colorway will hold its value, and we'll get to that point. So now another very low risk, short-term investment guaranteed to make you a quick profit are your very hyped up shoes. So these sneakers, you know, there was more mass production to them. Now your hyped up sneaker like your Adidas Yeezys, if you get your hands on these, you know, like one, they're hard to find, two, they're made in limited quantities, and the demand for them is extremely high. So, you know, it's the idea of supply and demand. So the hype around the Yeezy line of sneakers, you know, basically if you're able to get an authentic real pair of Yeezys at retail price, you're guaranteed to make money that same day. So this is an extremely low risk shoe, high return, short-term investment, because this sneaker, I believe the Pirate Black Yeezys retailed for $200 if I'm not mistaken. These shoes, that same day you bought these, you could have gotten them anywhere for, you know, $600, $700 plus. So you buy them for $200, and that same night, if you could easily find the buyer for like over $700. Even, you know, the Yeezys that came out after this, the V2s that had like different colored stripes, you know, they were produced a lot more than what the Pirate Blacks were. You know, 3 different colorways released at one time, easily, you know, retail about $200. That same night you could flip them through a variety of channels for over 500 bucks, easily double up your money. So Yeezys, another short-term investment, but very low risk. Now, as we move on, I would say we're moving towards long-term investments, and this would be a medium right here. So this is, you know, sort of a low-risk shoe. These are Adidas NMDs XR1s, the Adidas NMD line right now. They've got a lot of hype surrounding them. I'd say, you know, back when the Dunks had their hype in the early 2000s, late 2000s, the NMDs are where the Dunks were before. You know, it just goes along with the change of fashion. So trends change often. There's no guaranteed certain investment. Like I said earlier, if you watched my previous video, the Nike Dunk Supreme SB, the original colorway, the black, red, and cement, that shoe was the most in-demand sneaker. You know, I acquired it, thought I'd hold it for the long term, and the price would just keep skyrocketing, because at that time, $1,500 for a sneaker was absurd. Like, it was never even, like, you're crazy if you wore a pair of sneakers that were $1,500. And now, times have changed. That Supreme, you know, the value of that shoe just leveled out. It didn't decrease, but it hasn't increased. And it's just crazy now. Like, Adidas silhouettes, man, if you have a pair of like the Nike Yeezys, like they could go up to $5,000. Like the Red October is $5,000 plus. Like it's wild just for the price that sneakers are going for now. But you know, like I said, if this is the first time you're learning about sneakers, or if you're just starting to get into it, buyer beware, be cautious. There's a lot of fakes out right now. Later in the video, I'll go about how to you know, check if your sneakers are real, how to buy from, you know, verified sellers, making sure you're buying authentic things. So this right here, the Duck Camo XR1, it was, you know, it wasn't a very rare shoe. It was just, I guess, a popular silhouette, popular colorway that it sold out very quickly. I actually still have the receipt. I bought this sneaker in May of this year for $150, and I'll say short-term investment because that same day I could have resold this shoe for $250. You know, actually, I'll go into it. So if the market value for them is $250 and you use a consignment store to sell them for you, typically you get 20% back. So I would have got $200 back, meaning I would have made $50 quick profits. So now we'll move to a long-term investment. These sneakers right here, the black and white Jordan 1s, not a very rare shoe that came out. This colorway wasn't a very in-demand colorway. I paid retail for these back in 2014. I still have the original receipt. Bought them in November of 2014, kid size, for $100. So 3 years later, I took this out of my stash and I just saw the value of the sneakers now, off the top of my head, I think like 300, either between 250 to 300 is the market value, meaning if I were to sell this sneaker today, I would get $200 back for them, and that would mean I doubled up on what I originally paid $100 for. So this again took 3 years to increase in value. For a year out, you know, months out, a year out, if you tried to sell this shoe, you know, you would have a hard time even selling them for the retail price. So again, it's one of those things, supply and demand. Jordan 1s have definitely increased in popularity, I'll say in the past year or two. The market has definitely shifted. Nikes used to be, you know, a more secure, you know, investment if you look at it as an investment. So something like, I know these are going to be worth more than what I paid for them in a couple years, but now I'd actually say it's a lot riskier as the trend has moved towards Adidas. You know, like I'll say over a decade ago, Adidas was very irrelevant in the resale market, but now it's crazy. Like the business model that Nike is producing even more sneakers and bringing down, it's actually bringing down the resale value of the sneakers because obviously supply and demand, if there's a lot of sneakers out there, you know, that many people are able to buy them at retail, the resale value of it drops. So they've been doing a lot of Jordan retros lately and producing a lot of them. It's actually some really popular colorways like the True Blue white and blue 3s, you know, a retro of the original colorway. They mass produced that shoe. They mass produced it so much that like it's at, you could find them at some Nike outlet stores on clearance, and that's a shoe that used to resell for like triple the original price if you had the original shoe, and now it's back on clearance rack. So it's pretty crazy. Here's another, you know, long-term investment, sort of similar like the black and whites, but I'd say a little bit lower risk because this is a retro of an original colorway, a retro of an original popular colorway, the infrared 6s. So these, you know, as Jordan retros different sneakers, you know, each retro tends to have something slightly different than the original, which is great. You know, they may change the stitching, like a lot of the retros have the Jordan embroidery on the back, the originals have Nike Air, the colors are slightly different, so it's cool. So if you hold the original, you know, it still shows you have value in that original shoe. So these sneakers came out, this is the men's size, this is the kid size, and these came out in 2014. So again, another shoe that took 3 years to increase in value. You know, back when you bought this sneaker, when it came out, you know, it was not that easy to get. But again, if you tried to resell it, you're lucky if you made 20 bucks on top of retail. So 2014 releases. This shoe originally retailed for $130 in the kid size, and in the kid size you could get about $250 to $300 for these, meaning, you know, if you market value is $250, meaning you would make $200, you bought them for $130, that means you made profit of $70. The men's sizes, you know, this is a different case because this shoe retailed for $185, and also what you have to be aware of, sizes greatly differ. So this is a size 10.5. So this is a perfect example. The 10.5 and the infrared 6s from 2014. 10.5 goes for about $400 right now. But there are sizes, I think like the 7.5 and the 8 are going for like over 500 bucks. So that right there, just the difference in size, same exact shoe, but difference in size, $100, if not more of a difference. Like there's some shoes out there where I saw the 8.5 was going for $850, and then the 10.5 is going for $450. So again, it's the difference in demand, right? And just like any investment like stocks, it's all a risk. You know, you really don't know what's going to happen. And I'll give you a perfect example of a shoe that I thought was going to do great. It's a popular silhouette, the Jordan 3. You know, the Jordan 3 just always, it's in my top 5 of the Jordan styles. And the Jordan 3, you know, if you have the black and red cement 3s, those shoes easily go for way over 500, if not 700. The True Blues, like I said, they just mass produced them, so the value of those went down. I thought when this shoe came out, I thought this was going to be like, you know, like a home run, hit it out the park. These are going to go up in value, but I've been proved wrong. These sneakers came out in 2014, retail value of $170. This shoe, if you tried to resell it, you'd probably lose money on it. For some reason, the blue colorway is not, you know, in demand. I think the men's sizes, you could probably make 20 bucks on them after 3 years. But again, this is why I say everything's a risk, right? And actually, when they released this shoe, they said they were going to discontinue retroing the Jordan 3s. So I only thought, like, man, that's a shoe that's guaranteed to go up in value. It's a cool colorway, but either way, you know, 2014, 3 years later, the shoe is still not worth much. The kid sizes, you know how I said, like, the kid size is sometimes more valuable. If not, you know, you could turn a profit. You're gonna lose money on the kid sizes right now. Like, the kid sizes retailed for $130, and I know of a website that sells them for like 80 bucks today, below retail 3 years later. So definitely a risk. You know, take the knowledge that I'm bringing to the table as an education, and not, you know, everything here is not a guaranteed return, and this shoe is a great example. So now it's, where do you find the market value of the sneakers? So you have several resources that you could use to find the value of a sneaker. The sites that I would recommend are eBay, or Flight Club's website, which is vintagekicks.com, or StockX. StockX is a new platform, new website that's revolutionizing and modernizing the sneaker community, because like I said, as the rate of and the quality of fakes increase, you know, in order for you to make sure you're buying authentic sneakers from a reseller, sites like StockX are the middleman between you and the seller. So I actually stopped even looking for sneakers on eBay to buy, because I've had some bad experiences in the past year in which, you know, I bought a shoe that came out recently that I couldn't get my hands on for retail, and I really wanted it, so I was ready to pay over retail from a reseller. I did, paid more than what the original price was, got the sneaker, and it just looked funny to me. Nowadays, you could bring it to certain stores to get a legit check. I got them checked and they were fake. But fortunately, thanks to PayPal's buyer protection, I was able to get my money back. So definitely buyer beware on eBay. The quality of fakes, it's just ridiculous to this point. If I'm personally looking for sneakers for myself to buy, and I'm not able to buy them directly from the store, like Nike, Adidas, Foot Locker, Foot Action, I've been using StockX. So like I said, StockX is a middleman. So you look for whatever shoe that you want, you go on the site, you pick your size, it'll tell you how many people are selling that shoe in that size, and you pick the price that you want to buy it for. What happens is, let's say I wanted to buy this shoe, the market on StockX, I find the Duck Camo XR1, it says it's $250. So I say, okay, I want that shoe, it's $250 and an 8.5. I pay $250 plus shipping, which I believe is like 15 bucks. I paid $265. The seller of the shoe sends the shoe to StockX, sends it to their headquarters. StockX then inspects the shoe, and should have brought one out. They have like this green tag that they put on the shoe to guarantee that the shoe is authentic. So they serve as a legit check. After they guarantee the shoe is legit, they pack the shoe, ship it out, send it to you, and you know that the sneaker that you're getting is legit. Is it 100% guaranteed? You know, I've heard different stories, but you know, if I had to weigh it out between buying shoes on eBay or buying it on StockX, you know, we're talking about buying sneakers online, that's the way I would do it. So if you're looking for the value of a shoe, you know, definitely those are some great resources. eBay, what you do is if you already don't have an account, you have to sign up for an account. And once you have an account, it allows you, there's an option that says sold. You could type in the shoe, you could type in XR1 camo, and then like on the left hand side or in one of the filters, you click on sold or completed items. I personally would click on sold to just see like, all right, in this size, this colorway, what has this shoe been selling for? I get a bunch of people that, you know, they're just learning and they're like, oh, bruh, I saw that shoe listed for 500. I'm like, that's not what you're gonna get. Just because someone's asking 500 doesn't mean people are buying it for 500, right? You want to get the true market value. What are people paying for that exact model? So if you go to sold and then completed then sold, it'll show you everything that's sold in the past month or so. So then you could be like, oh wow, all right, that shoe sold for 250 instead of 500. There's people asking crazy amounts, but again, that doesn't mean that they're selling for that amount. My favorite way of looking up market values is using vintagekicks.com, and that's actually the online store for one of the OGs in the reselling and sneaker game, Flight Club. They're based in New York, and they were, you know, in my opinion, one of the original sneaker consignment stores in which you bring your sneakers to the store, they'll sell it for you. After they sell it for you, they give you 80% of what it sold for. I think the last thing I didn't mention in regards to buying and selling sneakers, a new option that you do have, you know, in addition to all there's a lot of online apps now that you could use, like Grailed, that, you know, you could take a picture of your shoes and you could sell it direct to people who want to buy. But again, buyer beware, very risky way to be buying limited edition sneakers right now. You could go to consignment stores. So there are stores out there, and a lot more than there ever used to be, that are similar to Flight Club, but some also have different business models. So I actually have a friend, Tony from Sold Out in JC. If you're in Jersey City, if you're in New Jersey, New York, definitely go check them out. You know, similar to Flight Club, in which you can bring in your shoes on consignment. You agree to a price with them that they'll sell it for. And once your shoe sells, they'll notify you, and most likely I believe that they cut you checks. And a different way to do it is, if you have sneakers that you want to get rid of and you don't have time to wait for, you know, someone to buy your shoe on consignment, they could directly buy your shoe out. So they call them buyouts. So a shoe like the Yeezys, when their in-demand releases coming out, if you follow them on Instagram, you'll see that they'll even put up pricing, buyout pricing, before the shoe releases. So they'll say like, all right, Pirate Black Yeezys are coming out this weekend. If anybody buys them, we'll buy them straight from you for 600 bucks. And it's great because if you're looking for a quick flip and you have an in-demand shoe, you know, rather than waiting or trying to sell it on your own or bringing it to a consignment shop, waiting a couple days, if not weeks, if not months for them to sell, you can make some quick cash, you know, just right there on the spot. And the way it typically works is if the shoes retail 200, the market value on them is going for 600, you could expect that they'll give you 400, because obviously they need to make some money too. They're in it as a business. So, you know, if the market's 600, you can't go in there and be like, all right, buy my shoe out for 600. That's not the way it works. At that rate, you're going to have to put them on consignment. And with that said, you know, there's other shoes that you could buy and they're not going to make money very quickly, if not make money at all. You could buy a shoe and it might lose value. So be very careful, get educated on what you're buying. You know, if this is your first time getting into sneakers, there's a lot of resources out there right now on how to see what's about to come out, check out release dates. I would recommend websites like the original websites, Freshness Mag, Hypebeast. So, you know, take this for what it is. If you do want to get into the hobby of reselling, or maybe even turn it into a business. You know, if there's any questions that you have that I didn't answer, hit me up in a comment and let me know, and I'll try to answer it the best that I can. Good luck hunting for, you know, the shoe that you want for yourself or to resell. And also, as a bonus, I forgot to mention another way that you could buy and sell sneakers and meet more people who are interested face to face about, you know, learning more about sneakers and just getting involved in the culture, the community. You could check out some sneaker shows. There's, you know, search Facebook, search Instagram for your local sneaker show. SneakerCon is one of the biggest sneaker shows, conventions, and that's a place where thousands, if not tens of thousands of people go. I actually think at those shows now they have legit check booths. So before you buy a shoe, you could bring it to a legit check booth where very knowledgeable connoisseurs of sneakers are to make sure the sneakers that you're buying are real. And, you know, like with Facebook Marketplace, you know, communities, online forums, just be very careful if you're buying, and also if you're selling. There's a lot of scammers out there. There always have been, and if not, there are a lot more now. So even if you're selling a sneaker, just be very careful. If you use secure platforms, I like to say like eBay, use secure payment services like PayPal that offer payment protection for both sellers and buyers. And, you know, if you have any questions in regards to, you know, some advice on how to sell and buy sneakers, let me know in a comment. And again, just, you know, make sure what you're buying is real and don't get ripped off, because then it just, you know, it could actually make you not be interested in sneakers anymore.